there, guys. It's me, Mario. No, I'm just kidding. It's me, Rabbit. And oh my gosh, let me actually take these glasses off because I'm pretty sure there's a crazy glare that's probably going to mess up this intro. Assuming that the intro was actually good on its own. But anyway, hey guys, I hope all of you have been doing well. I ended up kind of missing my monthly vlog for February because I did have some stuff that was kind of left over from the end of 2014. So I wanted to go ahead and focus on wrapping up a couple of those projects. Plus I did go out of town for a health fair. I was gone for like a week and a half, but I got back, finished all of my stuff, and I know I'm in just under the wire because we only have a couple days left in March, but I made it. Here's my monthly vlog for March. So as you can tell from the title already, this is going to be pertaining to PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome. I'm not going to be talking about the actual syndrome itself so much as I wanted to talk to you guys about the fact that I recently got diagnosed with this. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with PCOS. I don't want to make this a super long vlog, so I would just suggest a quick Google search if you are interested in kind of understanding the basics of what it is and what it entails, essentially. So for those of you, though, who are familiar with PCOS or you yourselves have been recently diagnosed, just, oh my gosh, I was absolutely mortified, you guys, when I found out. But just to give you a little bit of backstory, I always knew there was something that was probably wrong. I've said this for years, even on this channel. I am a very, very hairy person, and part of it I think is genetics. Like, I come from a somewhat hairy family, but I am hairier than almost everyone else. I have one cousin who is slightly hairier than I am. Her hair is actually on her back, which I don't have any back hair, I'm proud to say, but it's pretty much everywhere else. Like, I have hair that will grow on my stomach, it even grows on my toes, and it's just really thick and dense. My husband has even before like helped me with like tweezing, and he said, oh my goodness, there were like 3 or 4 hairs like sticking out of one actual follicle. So it's crazy how hairy I am. I know some of you laugh along with me and you're like, oh God, Rabbit, you're so crazy. You can't be that hairy, but no. I am very, very hairy. And part of it is good, right? Because, you know, the hair on my head grows really fast, but the hair on my body also grows very fast and it's very dense. So that was one of the things that I always thought was kind of weird. I just couldn't figure out, why am I so flippin' hairy? And then on top of that, I never had normal cycles, and I'm not sure if this is something that I have shared with you guys on this channel. Probably not, because in the past I focused predominantly on tutorials and like hair and beauty related things, so I don't think I talked to you so much about my actual body and things that were kind of going on with that. But I'm sharing it with you now that I've never had a normal cycle. I even started my period very late in my life. I feel like a lot of my peers, looking back on it, started theirs when they were 12, 13, 14 maybe. I think 13 to 14 was the usual for my friends anyway. I'm sure girls are starting much earlier now, given a lot of things have changed. But I think around that age group is when most of my friends were starting. But I didn't start my period until I was almost 16. Yeah, it was like a couple months before my 16th birthday. So, it was pretty late, I felt like, compared to some of my friends. And ever since starting it, it had never been regular. So I could go 2 or 3 months without ever getting it. And then after those 2 or 3 months would pass, I would maybe have 1 week where I would spot slightly, and then it would be gone for another 2 to 3 months. And then I've actually had a couple of times, as bizarre as this sounds, where I would have my period for an entire month. And that's no exaggeration. I would legitimately bleed for an entire month. And it was kind of odd. I didn't really suffer from any anemia related to it or anything, but it was just very uncomfortable. And as you can imagine, it just was a hassle to have to, you know, deal with tampons and or pads, depending on what you prefer to use, for an entire 30 or 31 days. It was just not a great experience. So I remember during my undergrad, that was the first time that I actually decided to go and see a doctor about it. And at the time, the way that the school where I did my undergrad worked was they weren't they weren't very friendly within their health department, or within their, I guess, student health center is probably what I should call it. The doctor that I had talked to, she was just very, I don't know, abrasive and kind of cold. So I didn't feel very comfortable sharing too much with her, but I didn't want to go and see a physician outside of the university setting because, I don't know, it was just more convenient. You know, I was already on the campus doing all my stuff. So I figured, you know what, just let's stop by the health department. Why do I keep calling that? It's a health center. Let me just stop by the health center and, you know, do my business. So anyway, the doctor, one of the things that she had recommended to me was that I had some like blood work and some labs done. And at the time when I was kind of weighing the pros and cons and looking at the cost of everything, it just wasn't really within the budget. I was kind of paying my own way through my undergrad by working and scholarships and things like that. So I didn't want to rely on my father's insurance. I didn't have student insurance. So it just really wasn't within my budget to fork over the cash to pay for the labs. So I decided, you know what, not going to worry about it. It's not like I felt anything negative. You know, it's not like I felt bad when I had my periods or did not have them. I just thought it was odd, and she even thought it was kind of odd. But I opted to not have the labs done, and that was probably a sophomore at the time. So yeah, I finished my undergrad, so 2 years passed, I didn't have the labs done, and then when I started graduate school, I actually worked within our student health center. I'm sure many of you do recall that I was a graduate teaching assistant, so I worked within our health center as a part of the whole public health and community health program, and I was so busy and I guess so involved in being a practitioner or being a health educator that I never really took the time to focus on getting those things for myself or seeking out those resources for myself. And I'm not really sure why, because I was right there. I worked alongside a lot of the doctors and the nurses. I never thought to actually talk to them about it, and the problem never went away. So just within it was probably the beginning of this month, so the last 3 weeks, prior to that and leading up to that, I was talking to my husband about it, and I was like, you know, I still am not having normal cycles, so it's not like just like a leftover late puberty kind of thing. I mean, obviously I'm too old for that. Puberty has been over for me for a very long time. I'm 26 now. But I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, there's really nothing that I can use or say to rationalize this. I really need to get this checked out. So 3 weeks ago, I ended up going to my physician's office, and I talked to her about it. And she was like, you really need to have those labs done. You know, you should have probably had them done way back when you were a sophomore in your undergrad. And, you know, I concede, I acknowledge that I should have done that. But I ended up finally getting them done at 26 years old, labs that were suggested to me when I was 20, so it's been about 6 years now. And yeah, the results came back such that, you know, I have polycystic ovary syndrome. So it kind of sucks, and I'm a little bit distraught and mortified because anyone who knows me knows that I want to have a humongous family someday. My husband and I aren't really in the position to do it right now. He still is very adventurous and still has a lot of things that he kind of wants to conquer and explore on his own. And, you know, he hasn't finished his master's yet. And we're both looking at PhD programs right now. Or I'm considering getting a secondary master's to kind of change my emphasis a little bit. And I don't know. We're just still looking at school opportunities and other opportunities in different universities around the world, whether that be teaching or working in labs. Just, we have a lot of things that are kind of available to us right now. So even though I would love nothing more than to start having a family within the next year or two, it's just not that feasible right now, given all of the other things that we kind of want to accomplish and achieve. So after talking to the physician about my options, as those of you who also have PCOS or are, you know, familiar with PCOS are well aware, there are a couple different treatment options. For me, I wasn't really sure what was going to be the most advantageous because, as I just acknowledged, I am not ready to actually worry about family planning. So I don't want to think about like hormone therapy, and I don't want to really focus on going on something to regulate my periods right now, so such as like birth control or anything like that. So one of the things that my physician did recommend to me, and what I decided I was going to start, was metformin. And I'm sure some of you who even have never heard of PCOS before have probably heard of metformin because it's often used for like diabetes or blood sugar issues. So it's a treatment that's often recommended. And, you know, she only started me off at 500 mg a tab, and, you know, I only take it once a day, but I've been having terrible side effects from this, you guys. Like, I shouldn't say terrible, that's me exaggerating slightly. Let me say that the side effects have been unpleasant. I have been really nauseated, and I noticed that I've lost a little bit of weight, and it's just, I don't feel comfortable and I don't feel normal, and I haven't been on it for very long. Like I already said about twice, I think it's been like 3 weeks since I have started taking this, so I don't know if these side effects are going to go away or if it's something I'm going to have to deal with, if I should consider some of the other options. One of the medications that she recommended, since I said to her that I wasn't interested in hormone therapy or worrying about balancing my hormones right now because conception is not something that we're really looking for, there is a medication, I believe, that deals with blood pressure. So this one, the metformin, is often used to treat blood sugar issues, and then there is another one, I cannot remember what the name of the medication is, that focuses on your blood pressure, and somehow that also helps those of us who have PCOS. So this is kind of a long vlog of me like telling you guys a story about what's been going on with me and this diagnosis and why it took so long for me to finally decide to go and get this taken care of. But I'm telling you guys all of this for two reasons. One, I'm really curious to know from those of you who also have PCOS or know someone with PCOS, what has been your experience with the different medications out there? And again, keep in mind that I'm not looking to conceive right now. So, you know, if that was someone else's goal, like obviously maybe looking towards birth control or looking towards some sort of hormonal therapy is going to be the best route, but that's not what I necessarily wanted. And as much as I love my doctor, I kind of just want to see what other people think. I've had plenty of friends who have given me their opinions and their advice and their recommendations. And so far I can say that the metformin, it's not that bad. I just don't feel myself on it, and I don't want to lose too much weight. And that's one of the side effects that I heard from one of my girlfriends that she really struggled with, was she felt like she lost a lot of weight in a very short amount of time, and I just don't want to really deal with that. So I'm just curious, what's been your experience? Are you on metformin as well? Do you like it? Do the side effects go away? Because we're going on week 4 and I still don't feel better, and I have to wait 6 months. She told me I should give myself to kind of get everything adjusted, continue to take this, and then I'm thinking about going back in and having my blood values checked, my hormone levels in my blood values checked yet again, just to kind of see if those hormone ratios have evened out a little bit. I can't even remember what the actual ratios were for my hormones, but for those of you who are aware, they specifically look at the FSH and the LH, and all I know was that mine apparently were pretty bad. She was kind of shocked. She said, yeah, you definitely have some stuff going on, so it's about time that you got this taken care of. So I don't know. I'm kind of over the initial shock, but at the time I was really upset because I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to make having kids so much more difficult. It's going to be so expensive to try to deal with this. This is not the news that I really wanted to hear. I'm sure nobody wants to hear this news. So I don't know. I've kind of come to terms with it. It's something that, I mean, I have no choice. Like, it is what it is. That's life, you know, that's my body, and that's just who I am. So I'm going to have to learn to live with this and kind of figure out a way to get around it. But I don't know. Right now, it's kind of hard to stay positive about the metformin because I'm not enjoying how it's been making me feel. So if any of you have any advice or suggestions, I've been taking it with food because I did hear from a few of my friends who know someone with PCOS, and 2 of my girlfriends actually also have it, that if you do not take it with food, that is, I shouldn't say with medicine, it is medicine. If you do not take it with food, it gives you awful diarrhea. So I can say happily that has not been a problem for me. I've not had any diarrhea on it. I've always made sure that I've taken it with food, but I don't want to take it. It's always a struggle, and I don't always take it at the same time every day because I don't like the way that it's making me feel. So if you guys are on one of the other treatment options, you know, let me know how you've been feeling on that and how it's been working for you. Did you go back and have your FSH and your LH retested, and did you notice a significant difference or significant improvement? So I just kind of want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences, because yeah, it's really important to me to kind of know how other women have dealt with this diagnosis and dealt with the wide variety of treatment options that are available. It almost seems like there are too many available, but that's good, because if one doesn't work for you, then you can try a different one. So yeah, this is kind of like a really weird and casual vlog. I don't know if that's good or bad, but kind of as I said in my announcement in January, I'm not going to really be able to do too many tutorials at this point. So I'm going to have to just stick with vlogs and product reviews for a while, but I'll try to alternate and make my next video a little bit more positive, since this one, I don't know if you guys can feel it. I'm not necessarily like upset talking about it, but it's not a happy thing, right? No one likes to say, yes, I have hormonal problems. No one likes to say, yes, I'm going to have issues with conceiving, especially when one of your major goals is to be a mom. So it's not a positive thing, that's for sure. But, you know, it is something that you have to just look at positively and think that, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know. So it's probably fine and it'll work out. I know it'll work out. I know it will work out. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. One of the other things that I had mentioned when I made that little like update vlog / I'm back for 2015 video was that I may be able to do more than just one video a month. So actually, April is looking pretty good. I just got back 3 days ago, I don't remember what day it is, 3 days ago from an event that I had attended out of state. So I'm pretty sure for April, I'm not doing any traveling. I believe I get to stay in Colorado. So if that is the case, and all I'm going to be doing is juggling my other typical like work stuff, data analysis, blah, 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 there's no reason why I can't get another vlog up for you in another 2 weeks or so. So I don't know, as I had kind of thrown out there to you guys in that announcement video, if you have any specific questions, things you'd like to hear me talk about, or just, you know, like a Q&A type thing. I don't really want to do like a formal Q&A because those can take a long time. But if there's like a specific question that you have for me, something that could be about me personally or my opinions on something, just any question at all, you know, definitely feel free to leave me a comment. You can always email me, or yeah, you can reach me on Facebook. So again, thank you so much for watching. This is a really weird way of ending a really pseudo-depressing video, but do know that I am in good spirits. I'm really happy to be recording and uploading for you guys again. And I'm really excited about getting to chat with all of you a little bit more in 2015 than I did in 2014. So hopefully everything's going great for you guys. I hope to hear from very many of you, and I will be in touch with you in another week or two. So take care, guys. Bye.